please make sure to stay tuned at the end-ish of the video for a awesome announcement. I guess it's awesome. I think it's awesome. Uh, everything is awesome. It's stuck in my head. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry. Just stay tuned for an announcement. I'll make sure to put a timestamp right here in case you just want to get to it and then go. Hey everybody, it's Athena. So, the title may have been a little bit clickbaity, and I really don't care. Basically, if you've seen any of my other videos, I definitely proclaim myself as a pantser. I can make up a story real quick and just go with it. Some of the details, though, get forgotten throughout, if it's a rather long story, which is why I ended up creating, like little notes and stuff for later. And July, what helped me was to plot out my stuff. Just to plot out the rest of the story, basically the 20% that was left of the story, because I just couldn't get there, and I could feel myself sort of like, those old trucks that sort of that kind of thing. I could definitely feel myself doing that by July. The date that I had to get my first draft done, I gave myself till the end of this year. I finished it 5 months early due to plotting and a little bit of outlining. So for next month, for NaNoWriMo 2019, what I am suggesting to you, if you are a pantser, and I know that a pantser does all of this in their head, and a lot of times they get a little stuck. So this is why I'm saying to plot just a little bit. Just a little bit. The reason why I'm saying that is because it helped me, and it should, in theory, help you. At least get all of the stuff out that you have in your head, so that you can see on paper, or even type it out so that you can print it off if your handwriting's crap like mine, because, I'm lefty. And whenever I get really excited about writing and stuff, then it just sort of jumbles all up into one big scribble. I could be a doctor. That's how bad it is. Or, a chef, considering how my stepdad writes. Anyway, so what I had done in the last video, which was Natalia Lee's, basically how to figure out when the best time to write is, I'll link it up in the cards up here. I came up with times whenever I could write, and then what really would work for me. So what I'm going to do is take this, move this whole configuration around so that you can see what I was doing. I still have that paper, and then I will break it down even further so that you can understand why it's important to plan, to plot, to organize on paper instead of in your head. Yeah, just to help you win NaNoWriMo. Okay, so this is what I had done in the previous video, which I had linked up top. Basically, this is how my November is going. It's going to go for the most part. Between 8:30 and 2:30 are prime writing times. The things that I can get done, like chores, stuff like that. It doesn't take much to throw the stuff in the washer and dryer. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to sweep and vacuum, stuff like that. So this is, just how that works. And then I have a whole lot of time on the weekends, which is what this is, but it's a little less organized. My daughter's home all the time, and sometimes she'll be in here. And if you have a 5-year-old or anywhere around there, you understand that nothing gets done unless you plop them in front of the TV or shoo them outside, things like that. So what I have on the back here are the 8th is no school, and I have no clue why, but either way, no school. And then the 22nd is a half day. This is Thanksgiving break. So with that in mind, and then I wrote down, what one would have to do to win NaNoWriMo every day. Now it all depends on what works for you. I'm going to let you know right now, what I'm sharing with you is stuff that I have learned that works for me. So you can emulate it if you follow it if you want, but it might not work for you. And all I'm doing is giving you an example, hoping that you can figure it out and tailor it best to what works for you. So I didn't fill anything out on here yet. This is really kind of, I guess, what I was going for, my cheat sheet, if you will. So my whole thing over here is 1 hour sprint, which is 3 rounds of 15 minutes with 5-minute break in between. And I could probably do 2 1 hour sprints, not right together for a big chunk of 4 hours, because that's not going to work. My brain hamster, if you've seen a hamster wheel and it goes around and the hamster runs its little pudgy butt off, and the times whenever it just stops and it goes with the it goes with the wheel, yeah, mine'll do that. So I wouldn't be able to do 4 hours in here because I would have no brain hamster. It would just explode. But I could do it in breaks. So if I were to, after dinner, I usually have time that I can do something. And I might do it there or even before I go to bed. So I've got some time right here, which I can get some stuff done. And I kind of put this together. Now, I've done word sprints before, and if you haven't done them, it's the 15th of October right now, so now is a good time to try and start. And you can do it on your own. You can do it in a group. There are a lot of people who have word sprints going on, obviously not right now, but there are people with word sprints just every week. If you can find a YouTube writer group, even if you were to type in word sprints or something like that, then yeah. So I figured, why not try for 3,000 words a day, which doesn't sound that bad until you actually do it. And it's really hard to pants 3,000 words that you won't come back and edit the crap out of later. That's just how that works for me. I don't want to get stuck in the middle of a word sprint because I don't know what's next. So what I did, figured out how many days that it would take me to get to 50,000 words, and at 51,000 that would be 17 days, which is awesome. That if I want to do that with weekends and everything, I can get it done in 17 days. Because my first book is 73,000 words, it's obviously going to be more than 50,000. I already know that. So I decided to break it down a little bit further just to play with it and see, what I could do. I've hash marked the weekends, and just in case you don't know, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't work. You don't see any goes to work on here. Me writing is work. Even though I'm not published yet, me writing is work. So what I did was I figured, okay, I could do 3,000 during the weekdays. I could probably pull off 3,000 words. And then do 2,000 on the weekend, which still isn't that bad. Or I could do, because that would make it to the 19th. I could also do 3,000 words with 1,000 on the weekend in case we go somewhere, or I just don't want to write. Then I can quickly write out 2 scenes or something. It wouldn't be that bad to just sit down and get something out and then be done. And that would take me to the 21st. which is also no problem. And then for the last one, I decided to just take out weekends altogether and still do 3,000. That gives me time to not really catch up, but if I didn't make 3,000 that day, maybe I can stretch it out on the weekend whenever my daughter takes a nap or whenever she is hanging out with Nate or whatever. So I took the weekends off thinking that they would be catch up or just break days. Either way, I would still be done by Monday, which is her first week or her first day of Thanksgiving break. I see nothing wrong with that. Now, in order to come up with the 3,000, I took my average kind of writing sprint. Now, I usually do, like, during 15 minutes, during a 1 hour, 15-minute segment thing, I can normally average around 500. Normally, it's like 250 and then 750 and then 500. And if I keep going, then, it keeps getting better. But the only other way that I notice that I get really good numbers is by plotting and outlining. And it's nothing big. I'm not saying that you pantsers need to, like the die-hard pantsers, need to come up with the whole story on one sheet of paper or on 50 sheets of paper. You just, what I did, and it's in the kitchen, but what I basically did is I took a note page and I wrote down at that point it was July and I was wrapping up the end of it. So everything that would need to happen, just like big points. So I'm just going to do circles because I personally don't want to make this, an hour long. But I wrote down big points and a couple of little ones as it got closer because I knew that I needed to have them in. And then within these big points, I had a couple little things in there that I knew I wanted to have happen. So either it was a quote or it was a small scene between two of the people, another little twist that would happen. So usually right in here is where I would put another twist. Like one of the girls, it was down to 3 girls, and one of them just dropped out because she knew that it wasn't going to happen. And the last 2 didn't find out until the very end as they were walking up the stage to get, for the grand picking, basically. That's not what it's called. It's called the choosing. But yeah, they didn't know until they walked up there and realized that she wasn't there. So yeah, just little things like that. And then like here we find out that the plot twist, the girl that dropped out was the one who actually said, I think this is what should happen, and really made the big decision that led to the end of the book. And it's just stuff like that. It's little things. It's not writing out every single detail, because personally, just me, how I feel as a planter, I don't like writing out even typing out every single little itty bitty detail of an outline before I do a rough draft or a first draft. I think that it works for some people and that's awesome. It doesn't work for me because I think it's ridiculous. I want to do the first draft and then edit, which is basically find mistakes, like read it through and find mistakes, which is what I did the first time, which means that I print it out just so that it's not on my computer, and then I text to speech. Which is where book 1 has been at for the last forever. So that I can hear how it sounds. Because there were a couple of things where I forgot a letter or I typed a word twice and I didn't catch it right here. That's kind of, and then the next step is beta readers. So I don't want to draft like 5 drafts and then do the editing, because I think that it's ridiculous. It doesn't work for me. There's no point in it. So yeah, if you want to, not saying if you want to win NaNoWriMo, but if you would like to get closer to the 50,000 words than what you may have been, in the last ones, your best bet is to follow something like this, where instead of having it all in your head, write out what you want next. So do the 15-minute sprint, and then in the 5 minutes, just write out a little bit what you'd like to happen next, whether it's, what was it? One of the things in there was the potential girls who are being, who are runners-up. One of them goes into their rooms and rips all their dresses, and they don't figure out who it is until she outs herself, which was awesome. So I literally wrote, rip dresses, no one knows who it is, Inquisition happens, which isn't Inquisition, but it sounds like, but lots of questioning, and then I set it up for later down the road with how this girl completely outed herself, and I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't written down and I could actually see it. Because while I can see it in my head, which is normal pantser stuff, it's just a whole lot easier to see it written down. Now, if this doesn't work for you and you can pants your way through 50,000 words, that's, wow. That's absolutely fantastic, and I am so happy for you that you can do that. But as we get older, we lose some of our brain cells due to stupidity, or they just don't work. So, this is kind of what I do. I plot major points that I want done, which is the circles, and then I outline, which are these little dots, some things that I want to happen, whether a quote, or whether they wear this dress, or whether they have on this crown, or this person picks on this person, just so that I can reach, this mark, so I can reach 3,000 words a day. So, let me flip this back around. Okay, so with that in mind, I have some awesome news. Okay, there we go. Every day for NaNoWriMo, that is still way too close. I'm sitting too close to it, and I don't want to back up. Okay, so for NaNoWriMo, I am actually going to be going live for 2 hours or however long every day. I might not during weekends, and I might not during during Thanksgiving vacation, just because my daughter's here, and I was gonna say Facebook, and that's not it. Wow. And YouTube is definitely cracking down on if there are kids present in the video. And granted, she's 5. She's not gonna be running around naked doing weird stuff. But I have noticed a couple of the channels that are more geared towards kids or wholesome things. I don't swear too much in here. I don't really have a whole lot of content that's geared towards little kids, but hold on, let me shut that off. However, if she's in my video for any more than a certain amount of time, and I don't know what that is, the comments could be shut off. It could be harder for you to actually find me. So the weekends, we'd have to see how it goes. And then the end of the month, I'm not quite sure. I might have to do it later on in the night, or I might do it during the day and have her sit over here where you can hear her but you can't see her. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work yet. So, I'm going to test out the live. I'm trying to find my thing, and it's not happening. So, I'm just going to pull up the calendar on here. I am going to test out the StreamYard on Monday the 28th at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So whatever works for you, I will make sure to have it up. This video will probably be going out the 21st, and I will make sure, again, as we get closer to the day, I will make sure to, I have like, it's coming from, anyway, I think it's coming from that way. I get distracted easily. So on the 28th at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is Texas time, I will be going live in here playing with StreamYard. If you want to come in, I think I'll be doing it for 2 hours just so that I can figure it out, so that you guys can figure it out. If you have any questions for me, that would be a great time to ask. Things like that, so that I know how it works, you know how it works. I'm really excited about it. I want to be doing this every day. This is not focused on my face. What is it focused on? Because it is like horribly. Hold on a second. We went to the pumpkin patch today, which is why I got this X on here, which is probably much better. So my phone was just gross. Ugh. So, October 28th, which is Monday, at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will make sure to set a reminder. I will make sure to blast it on Instagram, see if I can put it on the community page, do whatever it takes to get you guys there, because I'm excited about it. I'm taking the next step in the Authortube thing, which is awesome, because it's something that I wanted to do anyway, and NaNoWriMo is the perfect time to do it. I think I have used up enough of your time. Anyway, I'm sorry for the clickbait. I just figured that if it's gonna work for me, I might as well have it work for you. I still would call myself a pantser, but considering for Nano, I have a whole page where I've written stuff down already. So that's technically plotting and outlining, whichever way that could be another video for me. Anyway, because it's technically, I'm writing stuff down, so I'm plotting beforehand, I am a plantser now. It worked well for me in July. It should work well for me now. I'm gonna get off of here. I hope that you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you again next week.